There is a quiet myth in Britain, and it quietly robs people of their entire financial future. The myth says that building a six-figure net worth requires a six-figure salary. We scroll past the luxury influencers. We watch the supercars glide out of gated driveways, and somewhere deep down, we file wealth away under a single heading for someone else. But here is what almost nobody tells you. In 2026, some of the wealthiest people in your town are not the loudest. They are the quiet couples earning £35,000 a year, driving a sensible car, living in an ordinary semi, who have mastered something I call the invisible engine. And by the end of this, you are going to understand exactly how they did it, because it has almost nothing to do with the number on their payslip. Let us begin by killing the biggest lie of all, the idea that a high salary is the goal. Because a high salary is very often a trap. Take a person earning £100,000 a year. On paper, they have arrived. But watch what actually happens. A huge slice of that money vanishes to HMRC before it ever lands, roughly 40% at the top. Once you count income tax and national insurance, then the lifestyle arrives to finish the job. The bigger mortgage in the right postcode, the school fees, the 2 prestige cars, the sense that you must look the part. High earners are often the most broke people in Britain because their spending expands to swallow every extra pound. Here is the truth the wealthy quietly understand. Wealth is not what you earn. Wealth is the margin you keep. A person earning £40,000 who keeps 20% of it will crush. A person earning £100,000 who keeps nothing. The margin is the entire game. Now, let me show you why the beginning feels so brutal and why most people give up right before it gets easy. Think of your wealth as a heavy freight train. When that train is standing still, moving it the first 10 inches is agony. You are pouring in enormous energy, straining every muscle, and the train barely creaks forward. That is exactly what building your first £20,000 feels like. It is manual, it is slow, and it feels like nothing is happening. This is where 99 people out of 100 quit. But the ones who keep shoveling energy in reach a magic point. Somewhere around £100,000, the train has momentum, and momentum changes everything. You can ease your hand off the throttle, and the sheer weight of your assets carries you straight through obstacles that would flatten someone standing still. A surprise bill, a job loss, a bad year, the train just rolls on. That is what £100,000 actually buys you, unstoppability. So how do ordinary earners get that train moving? They use a legal loophole hiding in plain sight, one the wealthy have used for decades. It is called salary sacrifice, and it is the closest thing to free money the British system offers. Here is the mechanic. When you contribute to a workplace pension or a SIP through salary sacrifice, that money goes in gross before HMRC takes its cut. So for a higher rate taxpayer, someone earning over £50,270, watch this. To put £100 into your pension, the actual cost to your take-home pay is only about £60. The government effectively hands you the other 40. That is an immediate 40% return before your money has grown by a single penny, and no index fund on earth guarantees you that on day one. Ordinary wealth builders treat this like the cheat code it is. They quietly funnel money into their pensions and their SIPs, letting the taxman fund a chunk of their retirement for them, while their high-earning neighbours pay full price for a flashier life. Now, let me show you the single decision that separates the two couples in your street, because it is almost never about income. Picture two couples, identical salaries, identical jobs. Couple A finances 2 brand new SUVs on PCP for £800 a month between them, because the driveway has to look successful. Couple B keeps driving their paid-off Toyota and takes that same £800 a month and drips it into a low-cost global equity index fund inside a stocks and shares ISA, earning a long-run average of around 7% a year. Fast forward 10 years. Couple A has 2 aging, rusting cars worth a fraction of what they paid and nothing else to show for it. Couple B, from the exact same money, is now sitting on roughly £150,000. Same income, same street. 2 completely different lives, decided entirely by where that £800 was pointed. That is opportunity cost, and it is the most expensive thing most Brits never calculate. And this is where the second engine takes over, and this is the part that feels almost magical. Think of your income as a river flowing through your life. For most people, the water simply flows in one side and straight out the other, out to the sea. Wages in, spending out, nothing captured. But wealthy Brits do something different. They build a reservoir. Every month, they divert a little of the river and hold it back, and slowly the reservoir deepens. Here is the beautiful part. Once that reservoir reaches a certain depth, something shifts. The evaporation, your everyday spending, starts to be replaced naturally by the rain, the compounding growth landing on top. Your assets begin to generate their own weather. You stop needing to carry buckets up from the river just to survive the month, because the reservoir is now, in part, refilling itself. That is the moment ordinary people cross into genuine financial security. And when you feel that shift, it does not arrive with fireworks. It arrives on any quiet morning. You are making a cup of tea, the direct debit triggers, another automatic contribution slides into your investments, and it lands on you. You are no longer merely a tenant of your employer, renting your survival month to month. You have become a partner in your own future. That feeling is worth more than any pay rise. But none of this works without the one skill nobody puts on a CV, the ability to say no. Ordinary wealth builders are masters of the manual override. When the whole culture is pushing them toward the Waitrose lifestyle, the home county's postcode, the endless status race of matching whatever the neighbours just bought, they simply opt out. They say no to the performance of wealth so they can say yes to the real thing, their own time, their own freedom, a train with unstoppable momentum. Every no to a status purchase is a quiet yes to walking away from work a decade early. So let me give you the actual roadmap. 3 moves, in order. First, maximize the employer match. If your workplace pension offers to match your contributions and you are not taking the full match, you are refusing a pay rise. This is the first pound you should ever invest, every single time. Second, automate the stocks and shares ISA. Set up a standing order the day after payday into a low-cost global index fund and let it run without you touching it. Remember, you get a £20,000 annual ISA allowance to shelter your growth completely from tax. And with the capital gains tax allowance shrinking year after year, that shield matters more now than it ever has. Shelter your wealth early, while the door is still open this wide. Third, perform a direct debit audit. Sit down, open your banking app, and hunt down the invisible leaks, the subscriptions you forgot, the memberships you never use, the small, silent drains bleeding your river before it ever reaches the reservoir. Redirect every one of them into the engine. Do those 3 things consistently, and the maths becomes almost boringly reliable. A couple earning a combined £70,000, simply 2 median salaries, who invest 20% of their net pay, can build £100,000 in assets in under 6 years. Not by earning more, by keeping more and pointing it in the right direction. So here is what I want you to walk away understanding. Wealth in the UK is a behaviour, not a bracket. A £100,000 portfolio does not know or care whether you earn £40,000 or £400,000. It does not check your job title. It only cares about 2 things: the wind of compounding and the time you are willing to give it to grow. The quiet couple on £35,000 understood that. They stopped waiting for a bigger salary to rescue them, and they started the engine with what they already had. And that is the real secret. The 6-figure salary was never the entry ticket, the margin was. If this video helped, like and hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.